There is a quiet mistake many people begin making after 60 without realizing it, and once it takes hold, the effects are difficult to reverse. It doesn't cause immediate pain. It doesn't send you to the emergency room, and it rarely shows up as a clear diagnosis. That's why it's so dangerous. This mistake slowly weakens muscle before you notice strength is fading. It thins connective tissue before the skin begins to bruise and tear more easily. It reduces circulation long before cold hands, numbness, or balance problems become constant. By the time most people recognize what's happening, they believe it's simply old age. They accept it. They adapt their lives around it. They stop doing things they once enjoyed. But here is the warning few people ever hear clearly enough. What feels like normal aging is often the result of quiet nutritional neglect, not extreme deficiency, not starvation, but the gradual removal of one specific support the body depends on more with every passing decade. When this support disappears from daily life, the body compensates by becoming weaker, slower, and less resilient. Muscles lose their firmness, skin loses its strength, blood flow becomes less efficient, and the decline happens quietly, so quietly that most people never connect the cause to the outcome. What makes this especially troubling is how simple the solution often is. Not expensive, not complicated, not medical. Just one ordinary fruit that many people stop eating as they get older, often without any reason at all. And once it's gone, the body begins to change in ways that feel permanent, even though they didn't have to be. If you're over 60, this is something you should understand sooner rather than later. Because the earlier this support is restored, the more responsive the body tends to be. Ignore it long enough, and the body adapts to doing less, with less strength, less protection, and less reserve. And that adaptation is what most people mistakenly call aging. Here is something many people are never clearly told, even though it explains so much of what they feel after 60. Muscle strength, collagen integrity, and circulation are not separate systems. They are deeply connected, quietly supporting one another every day. When one begins to weaken, the others often follow, slowly, subtly, and almost invisibly at first. This is not because the body is failing. It's because the body's ability to repair itself changes with age. After 60, the processes that rebuild tissue, reinforce connective structures, and keep blood vessels responsive simply take longer. They also require more consistent nutritional support than they once did. That's where this conversation becomes important. The fruit we're talking about today is kiwi. Kiwi contains a rare and well-balanced combination of nutrients that align closely with what the aging body needs most. It is naturally rich in vitamin C, which the body relies on to produce and maintain collagen. Without enough vitamin C, collagen becomes weaker and less organized, affecting not just the skin, but muscles, tendons, and joints. Kiwi also provides potassium, a mineral essential for healthy blood flow and proper blood vessel function. As circulation slows with age, potassium helps support the gentle opening and closing of blood vessels, allowing blood to move more efficiently through the body. In addition, kiwi contains antioxidants that help protect tissues from gradual, everyday wear, something the body becomes more vulnerable to over time. What makes kiwi especially valuable is not that it forces change, but that it supports the body quietly. It doesn't overstimulate. It doesn't overwhelm digestion. It simply provides steady, reliable nourishment in a form the aging body can accept. In the next part of this conversation, we're going to look more closely at how kiwi supports muscle maintenance, especially when muscle recovery begins to slow with age. We'll explore why collagen becomes more fragile after 60 and how that fragility affects strength, skin, and movement in ways many people don't immediately recognize. We'll also talk about circulation, not in dramatic medical terms, but in everyday experiences like warmth, energy, balance, and stamina. You'll begin to see how circulation quietly shapes how capable and confident the body feels from morning to night. We'll discuss why consistency matters far more than quantity, and why eating a small amount regularly often does more good than large amounts eaten occasionally. We'll also explore how digestion changes after 60, and why kiwi's natural enzymes can make a meaningful difference in how well the body uses the protein you eat. Later on, we'll reflect on something deeper: why simple daily habits often protect independence more effectively than dramatic interventions, and why the smallest choices sometimes carry the greatest long-term impact. As you listen, I invite you to simply stay curious. There's no pressure to make changes right now. You don't need to decide anything today. Sometimes, just understanding what's happening inside the body brings a sense of relief. It reminds us that what we're experiencing has reasons and that we are not imagining it. If this conversation feels calm or reassuring, you're welcome to stay with it. Let the information settle at its own pace. A woman in her early 70s once shared that she felt quietly embarrassed by how difficult it had become to rise from a low chair. She avoided mentioning it to anyone, even family, because she didn't want to sound weak or dramatic. She wasn't injured. She wasn't ill. She simply felt that her legs didn't respond the way they used to. What she didn't realize is that muscle strength depends on more than muscle alone. Muscles rely on a strong internal framework of connective tissue, much of it made from collagen. When collagen weakens, muscles lose some of their structural support, even if the muscle tissue itself hasn't changed much. Vitamin C plays an essential role in maintaining that framework. Kiwi's vitamin C supports the body's ability to repair and organize collagen, helping muscles feel more supported and responsive. This doesn't rebuild muscle overnight, but over time, it creates conditions where gentle movement, walking, or light exercise can actually produce results instead of frustration. Small improvements accumulate. Standing feels steadier. Balance feels more reliable. Confidence begins to return quietly. Many older adults describe a feeling they struggle to put into words, a sense that their bodies are more fragile than they used to be. Skin bruises easily. Minor cuts linger longer. Recovery feels slower. This experience is very real, and collagen plays a major role. After 60, collagen production slows significantly. And without enough vitamin C, the collagen that is produced becomes weaker and less resilient. This affects skin, blood vessels, and connective tissue throughout the body. Kiwi is one of the most concentrated natural sources of vitamin C. When eaten regularly, it helps protect the collagen the body still has and supports the maintenance of new collagen over time. For many people, this translates into fewer unexplained bruises, skin that feels slightly stronger, and a subtle but meaningful return of resilience. Not perfection, but improvement. Circulation is one of the most underestimated aspects of aging health, largely because its changes are so subtle at first. Many people don't think about circulation at all until signs begin to appear. Hands and feet that feel cold even in warm rooms, legs that tire more quickly during simple walks, or a vague sense of heaviness in the body that's hard to explain. These sensations are not imagined. They reflect real, gradual changes happening inside the blood vessels. As we age, blood vessels naturally become less flexible. They don't open and close as easily or as smoothly as they once did. This stiffness can slow the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to muscles and tissues, leaving the body feeling tired, chilled, or less responsive. Kiwi's potassium plays a gentle but important role here. Potassium helps blood vessels relax and contract in a balanced way, supporting smoother blood flow rather than forcing it. This kind of support is especially important later in life, when the body responds better to steadiness than intensity. Kiwi also contains antioxidants that help protect the delicate inner lining of blood vessels from ongoing daily stress. As repair processes slow with age, preserving what already works becomes just as important as building something new. Healthy circulation isn't about pushing the body harder or demanding more from it. It's about keeping pathways open, flexible, and responsive. Kiwi supports that process quietly and consistently, especially when paired with simple habits like staying well hydrated and engaging in light, regular movement that encourages natural blood flow. Digestion is another area where the body quietly changes its rules as we age. These changes are gradual and often go unnoticed until small frustrations begin to appear. The stomach produces less acid, digestive enzymes work more slowly, and the process of breaking down protein becomes less efficient. This can feel subtle at first. Perhaps a meal leaves you feeling heavier than it used to, or protein-rich foods don't seem to give the same sense of energy or recovery they once did. Many older adults eat enough protein but still notice gradual muscle loss, not because they aren't eating enough, but because the body isn't able to extract and use the nutrients as effectively. Kiwi offers a gentle way to support this process. It contains a natural enzyme called actinitin, which helps break down protein more efficiently. By assisting digestion in this way, kiwi improves the availability of amino acids, the building blocks the body relies on for muscle repair, connective tissue maintenance, and overall tissue health. For many older adults, the difference is noticeable in simple, everyday ways. Meals feel lighter. Eating is more comfortable. Protein-rich foods are easier to tolerate and feel more nourishing. It's a quiet kind of support that doesn't demand dramatic changes or complicated routines, but over time, it helps the body use what it is given more effectively. Even small, consistent habits, like including kiwi alongside a breakfast of yogurt, eggs, or oatmeal, or pairing it with lunch or dinner, can gradually support better digestion and help the body maintain its strength and resilience. One of kiwi's most remarkable qualities has nothing to do with numbers, charts, or nutritional labels. It has everything to do with how the body experiences it. Kiwi is gentle. It's soft, naturally moist, and easy to chew. It doesn't require strong teeth or forceful chewing. It doesn't sit heavily in the stomach or demand extra energy from the digestive system. For people living with dental sensitivity, dry mouth, or slower digestion, this gentle quality matters far more than most people realize. It is a kind of quiet kindness for the body, a simple way to nourish without straying. As the body ages, it becomes less tolerant of foods that demand effort, foods that are hard, dry, or difficult to break down. What once was easy may now feel cumbersome. Eating can become work, leaving the body uncomfortable, bloated, or fatigued, even after a meal that should feel nourishing. This is where kiwi stands apart. The aging body responds best to foods that cooperate rather than challenge it, foods that feel supportive rather than demanding. Kiwi fits naturally into that relationship. It offers nutrition in a form that the body can accept, gently supporting muscles, connective tissue, and circulation without asking for more than the body can give. Eating kiwi is almost like giving your body a moment of calm. It is soft, fragrant, and refreshing. It reminds the body that nourishment does not have to be complicated, that support can be simple, and that gentle care can be just as powerful as any effortful intervention. Over time, this quiet, consistent nourishment becomes an act of respect for the body that has carried you through decades, honoring its needs and limitations while encouraging resilience, steadiness, and well-being. While kiwi can gently support muscle, collagen, and circulation, it's equally important to notice what quietly works against these systems. Many everyday habits that seem harmless can slowly strain the body over time. Excess sugar, for instance, can interfere with collagen stability and contribute to inflammation. Highly processed foods, while convenient, often lack the nutrients the body needs for repair and resilience. Chronic dehydration subtly affects circulation, energy, and muscle function, even before thirst becomes noticeable. Long periods of inactivity allow muscles to weaken and joints to stiffen, often without anyone realizing it is happening. After 60, the body has less margin for error than it did earlier in life. Recovery from neglect is slower. What once could be shrugged off with a weekend of rest may now linger for days or weeks. And yet, the body is still remarkably responsive. When we offer steady, thoughtful care, it often responds beautifully, even when changes are gradual. This is why kiwi works best not as a standalone solution, but as part of a pattern of care. It is most effective when paired with regular, balanced meals, gentle movement, adequate rest, and consistent hydration. It does not replace these habits. It quietly supports them. It is a companion to the rhythms of a life lived with attentiveness, offering nourishment without demanding attention or forcing change. The key is consistency. Small, thoughtful habits repeated day after day have a compounding effect. Over time, this steady care allows the body to maintain strength, flexibility, and resilience. Kiwi, in this context, becomes more than a fruit. It becomes a small, reliable ally in a life that honors the body's needs while acknowledging the natural changes that come with age. Strength, circulation, and connective tissue are not merely physical systems. They shape the way we inhabit our own bodies. They influence whether we move with confidence or caution, whether we trust our balance on stairs or when walking across a room, and whether we feel capable performing the small tasks that make daily life feel familiar and secure. When these systems begin to weaken, life can quietly shrink. Simple pleasures, a stroll through the neighborhood, bending to pick up a book, or reaching for something on a high shelf, can suddenly feel more challenging. The world may feel just slightly larger than the body can comfortably manage. And this, in turn, affects not only movement, but also confidence, independence, and the quiet satisfaction of living fully in one's own life. Yet when these systems are supported, even in small ways, life often feels more open again. Muscles may respond with a little more strength. Circulation may carry warmth to the hands and feet. Skin and connective tissues may regain subtle resilience. These small physical changes ripple outward, touching confidence, independence, and a renewed sense of ease in daily life. Aging with dignity does not mean resisting change. It is not about wishing the body could remain exactly as it was decades ago. Rather, it is about responding thoughtfully to its needs. It is about choosing care over neglect, patience over frustration, and understanding over self-criticism. Even a small, simple habit, a piece of fruit eaten consistently, can be part of this thoughtful care. Kiwi, eaten regularly, may seem insignificant at first, yet over time, it becomes a quiet, daily gesture of respect toward the body that has carried you through decades of living. A gesture that honors its resilience, supports its needs, and reminds us that even small, gentle choices can nurture strength, vitality, and confidence well into later life. By embracing these quiet, consistent acts, we create an environment where the body is supported, the mind is reassured, and life, though changing, is still rich, capable, and full of possibility. As we come to the close of this time together, I want to leave you with a profound sense of reassurance. Your body is far from finished. It continues to respond, adapt, and surprise you in ways both subtle and meaningful. Every day, it carries you forward, supports your movements, and enables the life you live. Even as processes slow with age, your body remains capable of benefiting from gentle, thoughtful support that is steady, consistent, and kind. If kiwi becomes a part of your daily routine, let it be simple and unhurried. There is no need for strict rules, exact quantities, or pressure. Let it serve as a quiet reminder that caring for yourself does not need to be complicated to be meaningful. Even small, thoughtful acts, taken consistently, can ripple outward, strengthening muscles, supporting circulation, and nourishing connective tissue over time. Remember, the act of caring for yourself is itself a declaration of respect and love for the body that has carried you through decades. Each small choice, each gentle habit, is an investment in resilience, confidence, and independence. Thank you for spending this time here with Calm Attention. I hope this conversation leaves you with a renewed sense of patience, respect, and quiet confidence in your body. Treat yourself gently, honor your pace, and trust that even simple, steady care can support your strength, circulation, and vitality for years to come. May you continue to move through life with ease, warmth, and the quiet reassurance that your body, though changing, remains responsive, resilient, and deeply capable.